Okay, hello. Today, Tuesday, we're gonna focus on two different topics from the course guidelines for Unit 1, and that is 1.2, which is geographic data, and the power, and then 1.3, which is the power of geographic data. So basically, the topic is geographic data. So you'll have a discussion post today related to these two topics. So we're just gonna kind of talk a little bit about what we're talking about when we do that. So topic 1.2 is geographic data, and the first kind of main thing is to identify different methods of geographic data collection. There's all different ways that geographers collect data. This is kind of probably not an entirely exhaustive list of different ways. One way that they do so is field work, so going out into the field, and then other and collecting data in that way. And that's going to encompass a number of these things as well. A number of kind of more scientific ways are using satellite systems and remote sensing. We'll talk about what remote sensing is, and GPS. But also, geographers use data in the forms of written accounts, media reports, travel narratives, policy documents, personal interviews, landscape analysis, and photographic interpretation. You guys will actually be when we do FRQs, a lot of the FRQs you'll take a look at have not only a map, but FRQs also oftentimes have pictures or different analysis that you'll have to do based on a photograph of the cultural landscape. And those types of things are what you're being assessed on when you are asked to take a look at a photograph. You're really being assessed on how well you can interpret a photograph or analyze a cultural landscape. So you are technically, doing your own investigation there. So we're going to focus a little bit more on some of these more specific things. GIS, remind yourselves of what that is, remote sensing, and GPS. But before we get into that, I just want to talk really quickly about the difference between different types of data. And this doesn't just go for geography, but this really goes for all different types of investigation or all different types of data collection. You take a look at two kind of major categories of data, which is quantitative and qualitative. And so we, as geographers, take a look at both different types. But the main difference, and you'll probably hear this multiple times in your schooling, the main difference is whether it can be counted and measured and recorded with numbers. And that's going to be your quantitative type of data. So, for example, tomorrow, April 1st, is Census Day. And so your household has not filled out the census, please encourage your parents or your guardians or whoever lives at the head of household at your home to fill out the census, because that is a great source of quantitative data. And so I filled out my census last week. You can do it. You just have to kind of mark down who's going to be at your house on April 1st, which is tomorrow. But quantitative data is information that can be measured and recorded using numbers. Okay. Yep, that's my daughter, and we'll see if this recording continues. All right, so quantitative data is information that can be measured and recorded. So examples would be census data, statistics, etc. Qualitative data is going to be the data that we collect that cannot be recorded. So it's based on people's interviews, document archives, descriptions, visual observations, things that people interpret. They may have different interpretations, not based on numbers. So ways that we collect geographic data more specifically are GPS. So GPS, I think most of us understand kind of what GPS is, but the GPS receivers on Earth, they use multiple satellites to determine the exact location. So for example, your phone is a GPS receiver. And if you use Google Maps or if you have location services turned on your smartphone, you basically are connecting to multiple satellites, and it's kind of coordinating, trying to figure out what your exact location is. So GPS is really used for location, navigation, and can be used to map like a route. GIS is what we use when we use ArcGIS. It's a computer system that can store, analyze, and display info from multiple digital maps or geospatial data sets. So GIS is a very powerful tool that is used for analysis, figuring out cause, effect, and correlation, and really is just multiple layers of maps that have all been geocoded so that they fall nicely upon each other. But also it's a software that can be used for very powerful things like figuring out, how those things all come together. And it also is used by many companies and corporations for planning as well. Okay, so remote sensing, this oftentimes is the one that people, we don't remember exactly what this is, or we don't necessarily always know what it is, but it's the use of cameras or other sensors mounted on aircraft or satellites to collect digital images. So it's like taking pictures of the Earth's surfaces from a remote location, which is essentially a satellite. So it can be used for things like determining land cover and usage, environmental change, spread of spatial phenomenon, monitoring weather. And so we're going to watch a quick little video. This is from NASA. NASA has something called the Landsat, their Landsat satellite that was launched originally in 1975, but has been used for remote sensing. And you'll see all the different things that it has been used for. So we're going to just watch this quick video. Maybe. Oh, full screen's unavailable. So multiple images across time. We can take a look at changes in land, the impacts, environmental impacts, ecosystems. One of the big things, this is urban growth. So we take a look at city and city development over time based on the images we get from these satellites. Another thing that I'm going to talk about later in the video is the importance of monitoring climate change using remote sensing. All right. So okay, so just on top of that, just the power of geographic data is that geographic data is used at all scales or personal uses, business and organizations use it, and government decision making is based on geographic data. And so the importance of all that for many different aspects of society. Okay, so that hopefully will help you be able to answer your questions. But if you have any other questions based on some of those terms we used today, feel free to email me, but also read over those sections in your review book, your AMSCO review book, or if you have another review book as well. All right, have a good day.